Welcome back to another episode of Water Break.
We're back.
It's been a minute,
It has been.
right?
Should we update the people on what's been happening, T?
Yeah. So we've been out for almost 2 months.
That's right.
We had some hospital visits.
That's right.
I was in the hospital for about a week.
A little over.
A little over a week, and then
I had COVID.
you had COVID.
Yes, so I was quarantining for 2 of those weeks. And then it wasn't nothing happened at the same time.
Yeah, no, but it was just kind of like
2 weeks of COVID, a week of you being sick.
Yeah.
And then we had our baby boy, Cruz.
Congrats.
Thank you. And we had
got the
planned on
baby.
taking about 4 to 6 weeks off
Yeah,
once the baby was
once the
born.
baby
So
was
that
born.
kind of all just
All happened at once.
happened in together to where we've been off for 2 months, but
So
we are back at it.
we're here. We're back. We got a new setup here.
That's right.
We got Dalen now is in the shot. He's on
right.
camera.
Good to be seen now.
Wearing that ugly Boston Celtics.
But
shirt.
Mickey, don't hate on Mickey.
You
Present.
can't hate on Mickey.
You
You can hate on the
boy.
Celtics, but
Yeah.
Mickey's cool.
Yeah,
Hate on
Mickey's
the
cool.
boy.
Leave him alone.
Happy New Year, I guess, because we missed.
We did miss
that.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We missed a lot.
We made it just in time for Valentine's
That's
Day.
right,
We
that's right.
said, no, I was recording Valentine's Day. When this comes out, after Valentine's Day.
It'll be passed. but-
Yeah. So happy Valentine's Day to all of you lovebirds out there.
But some exciting things in the show this year, T, that we're really pumped about.
Yeah.
The past few seasons, we did 2 seasons of Water Break, and we had like so many engaging topics and really just a fun time that we enjoyed discussing and dialoguing. I mean, sports, basketball, football, baseball, even a little soccer, some UFC,
Little
boxing,
boxing, yeah.
skating. And just kind of took a ton of different avenues. We had an episode on the Olympics. Just a bunch of stuff, and really enjoyed that. But as we all kind of, what'd you say?
Memory lane.
Memory lane. That's right.
lane.
But as you kind of, we all kind of sat down and just discussed the future of the podcast, and kind of like narrowing that down so that we can perfect something that we love and really just kind of bring everything in a little bit more. And so we decided to kind of shrink that down a little bit to where it's going to be all about basketball. The
All about
podcast is going to be
hoops.
everything about hoops now, specifically a lot about the NBA. We're going to be talking some college. And one thing, we want to continue is to give spotlights to people that don't often have a spotlight. So some high school stuff, some Division III, NCAA stuff, and things like that. So
And some NBA players.
yeah.
Hopefully we can bring
Yeah,
in.
so if
bring
you
back
know
some
of
more.
any... If you know of any NBA players, I mean, just give us their
Hey,
cell
we know
number.
one.
Reach out.
We know a
We know a
couple.
few. We know a
couple.
few.
We have had some on the podcast.
So
Some former hoopers.
some former hoopers. So we're hoping to get them on the show this year.
Yeah, we're excited about moving forward with the show and bringing all things basketball to the Water
That's
Break
right.
listeners out there. So stay tuned, and if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube or whatever podcast app you're listening to.
Hit that bell to get the notifications
Yeah.
too, huh?
Dalen, what do you got for us?
Yeah, so we basically just want to kind of recap. I know, obviously, the 2020-2021 basketball season has already started.
Yep.
We're quite a few months in, but we kind of just, since moving to this new, I guess, kind of, main topic of basketball, we kind of want to recap kind of what's been going on in the NBA since the start of the season up until now, and then we'll jump in with more current topics. So the first thing, I kind of want to bring up with you guys and discuss is the James Harden trade from Houston to Brooklyn Nets. So obviously there was a bunch of drama with James Harden in the team, and he wanted out of Houston.
Yeah.
Speculation, him and Westbrook weren't getting along, things like that. Obviously the trade happened. So what are your guys' thoughts on that?
Look, I mean, there was obviously, he was definitely, I didn't like the way he was behaving, the way he got himself out of Brooklyn. But so far, just watching them play, like, offensively, they're insane. Like, I think they're have the best offense in NBA history.
Historically, yeah.
Historically good offense. I think that's what we expected too. Their defense is awful.
It's atrocious.
Their defense is garbage.
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't see them making the finals.
Really?
If they keep this unit, if they keep playing the way they do, they don't have the rim protection, and I think that's what you need to have a good to have a championship team. I think you do need someone man in the middle. So I'm not too high on where Brooklyn's at right now.
Yeah, the whole drama with everything that happened there was really intriguing. It's so funny to me that you talked about him and Westbrook not getting along, and I don't think it's really like a personality thing. They didn't get along. It's obviously not getting along on the court. But I think for any basketball fan, like, we knew that was going to happen. Like, they're both extremely ball dominant, and Westbrook, he's never played off the ball. James did a little bit in OKC. He played the point, but then when he played with KD and with Wes, he had to play off the ball a little bit. But then he turned into a ball dominant player, and them two together was just not going to work, especially after they traded Capella and that small ball lineup with PJ Tucker as your center. Him going against AD in the playoffs was almost embarrassing. I mean, that was never going to work. And so then James Harden, the thing to me that was just so bizarre is how frustrated he was with the organization when every trade that happened, they did it for him. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He called for Dwight Howard, and it didn't work out. What did he want? He wanted Dwight gone. Then he wanted CP. He got Chris Paul. Didn't want Chris Paul. So then he traded him for Westbrook. Didn't like Westbrook. And he was never satisfied, but the moves that they made were him. That's what he wanted. And, I'm okay. I'm totally fine with players leaving and going to another place. But, yeah, like you said, what T said, the way that he went about it and just kind of he was almost pouting, and it wasn't cool.
I just don't get how you have D'Antoni. He's on the coaching staff. Like, you saw how small ball worked in the playoffs. Like, they got annihilated. Why go do the same thing? Like, why go the same route? Either you as a team decide we're gonna get KD, but we're gonna boot Kyrie out and get size or depth or whatever. It's like you got rid of all your depth, all of your future picks, whatever you had.
Yep.
To do the same thing that happened in Houston. Like, we've seen that doesn't work. You can't play that. You can't play that way for a 7-game series.
Well, I mean, obviously they got rid of Karis LeVert, who's a great player, but I think getting rid of Jared Allen was the biggest loss for them. Yeah. He's an amazing rim protector, and now he's with the Cavs, who have 7 centers, who are starting all 5 centers. Larry Nance is the point guard.
Yeah,
they got JaVale, they got Andre Drummond, they got Jared Allen. No one's going to dunk on the Cavs, but you will get up as many threes as you can in the game. But yeah, I think losing Jared Allen was a big hit. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I think there's a chance they get out of the East. The East everything is really balanced this year. It feels like in the East and the West, it feels a little bit more balanced. So I don't think there's a guarantee of anyone getting out of the East. I mean, Philly looks really good. Boston with Kemba back, if he can get his shot back a little bit and kind of fit back into the rhythm, I feel like Boston will be really good. And obviously the Nets, those 3 teams, you still got Giannis with the Bucks. I think it's a little bit more balanced this year. It's not a guarantee. And Miami's coming back too. They're healthy. Jimmy's healthy again. They'll be in the mix. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to what happens coming out of the East.
I disagree with you on that, T. I think the Nets will make it out of the Eastern Conference Finals, and that's coming from a diehard Celtics fan.
Wow.
The missing piece that we don't have is a big. Someone that can score, someone that can defend. We picked up Tristan Thompson. He's a good defender, but on the offensive side, it's just not. He's not it.
But the Nets are missing the same thing you're missing.
Yeah, but when you have Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden, yes, they have. And to your credit, the Nets have the best offense in the league, but they also have the worst defense
historically.
So I mean, and that's the intriguing part, to have a team that is the best offensively and also the worst defensively. Like, it's
8 games in a row they gave up 120
right.
points.
Yeah,
that's interesting. But I do think just with that much scoring power, looking at the East too, like Philadelphia, they always choke in the playoffs, always. And yes, Embiid's having an MVP year, but I don't know. You don't know how they.
DeAndre Jordan is not going to shut down Embiid.
I'm picking Philly. I'm rolling Philly right now. I think Golden State in 2016 showed us you can have a super high powered offense, but you need that rim protection. When Bogut gets injured, Draymond goes out for a game, and now LeBron James has free reign to get to the basket.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see, but I think I have Brooklyn coming out of the East. Miami's not even not even if the season ended today, Miami wouldn't even be in the playoffs.
Yeah, but they will be. They will be.
So
They're-
I mean,
they're
I'm
gonna get there.
just putting things into.
I mean, Jimmy
speculating
was out like 9 games, and Bam was out for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, with all the COVID stuff, it's gonna be it's really weird, and it's gonna be interesting to see what happens in the East for sure.
Gotcha. Well, moving on. We talked about the James Harden trade, but I wanted to bring up the Westbrook for John Wall swap. That kind of was interesting to see how that worked out. So, what are your guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah, that one was really interesting to me. Obviously, John Wall with his injury history, he had 2 serious injuries like back to back. Because I think he tore his ACL and then his Achilles, was it?
Yeah, something like
those
that.
and his Achilles, I'm pretty sure he like tore it like walking in his house or something like
He
that.
fell down his
Oh, yeah.
stairs.
Yeah, fell
He,
down
was,
the
he
stairs.
wasn't doing the Dougie when you heard you heard it.
I don't think he was. I don't think he was doing that. But that was an interesting trade to see happen. Because it was a swap straight up, and then I believe a first or second round pick that went to Washington in that trade. I'm sorry, that went to Houston in that trade.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Washington is terrible with Westbrook and Bradley Beal. I'm going to start it right here. Other people have said it, but I'm going to state it here on the podcast first. Free Bradley Beal. Get him out of there.
But he doesn't want to go.
I know.
He
But
doesn't want to go anywhere.
Sometimes you need you need to do something that you don't want to do. Like he may not want to go, but he needs to go. Like he is such an amazing offensive power, and for his team to have like 6 or 7 wins right now, being dead last in the NBA, he needs to go. And obviously, I'd love to have him on the Lakers, but we'll see where he ends up.
I don't know. Can the Lakers make that move for him?
I think they can. Yeah, we definitely can. We don't have any picks, but we have THT and Kuzma, which are 2 good young pieces. Plus, the contracts of KCP and stuff like that you can make happen as a make the money work there. So there's definitely ways to make the money work, but it'll be pretty difficult for sure.
Yeah, I just don't know what happened. I thought maybe okay, you get Westbrook, you have Beal, they'll be respectable. Like no, we weren't picking them to win, but
they have nobody else though. T. I mean,
yeah,
they have. Think about that
Hachimura
roster.
would take a bigger step forward.
You got Isaac Bonga, sometimes in the starting rotation. What's his name? Wagner sometimes starting. Thomas Bryant is out now. It's a really weak lineup, and
yeah,
there's no help there for either of those guys.
I just looking back, if James Harden just stopped pouting and stayed in Houston, that would have been a really good team because Boogie's starting to look a little bit better. Like he's obviously not the old Boogie, but he's looking better. John Wall, and then
they had Christian Wood. He's injured, but they had Christian Wood. He's only out probably a couple more weeks with that high ankle sprain.
Yeah, I mean,
but yeah, that's a good squad.
They have a good squad,
and him and Christian Wood looked real good together.
You still have Tucker. You still have Gordon. They still had some pieces.
They had some pieces to make some moves.
And they've taken a real commitment to defense.
Yeah,
the Rockets are a really good defensive team, and with all of the changes, they're still in the race. They
don't look terrible with Victor Oladipo now on the squad.
Yeah,
they don't look terrible at all. So I'm with you there. I think it would have been worth it to fight it out. But
I think both teams are better off not making the trade because the Nets looked pretty good with obviously that game 1 when they had Dinwiddie too, and they looked unbelievable,
nasty.
and they were committed to defense. I don't know. I think just making the move. Obviously, Kyrie holding out.
Is it win or bust?
Yeah, of course.
This year's win or bust?
Yeah, you have
win
to.
the whole thing or just win the East?
Win everything.
It's win or bust.
You gave everything.
Well, why would it be a bust if they don't win this year?
You gave away your future for now.
For the now.
Yeah, for the now. I mean that's
but all 3 guys still have a good while left in their career. Like it's not going to be if they don't win it, then it's all over. Like they have to disband.
They don't have to disband, but they have to win. In order for this to be a good move.
If they make it to the finals, if they lose in the finals, I think that's exactly where they want to be. I mean, to beat the Lakers, I think the Lakers will go back, but I think if they beat the Lakers in the finals,
I don't think you give up that much of your future just to get to the finals.
Yeah, I think
they weren't
But
like
it's their first year.
I know.
Together.
I know.
Like,
I get what you're saying. So
Yeah.
I kind of get what you're saying, but I do resonate with what T is saying because it's true. Like when you do something this big and throw away everything, like you have to prove yourself immediately. Like where no one's going to give you time. So
If you win in 2 years by getting out of the if they don't get out of the East, then yeah, I agree. But if you get out of the East, you make it to the finals, like I don't think it's a bust if you don't win.
I would agree if they still had like some of their future left. Like if they had some pieces left, they didn't give up the farm for them. Like they.
What if the Nets? Wouldn't it be crazy if they didn't win a championship with this roster, and
they've seen this movie before when
what happened when they got Paul Pierce,
Yeah, exactly.
KG,
Exactly.
and those boys and Chris Humphries, I believe they traded to Boston. Like
Yep.
Boston got like Chris Humphries and like 9 picks.
They got all the picks, yeah, and you set up Boston
and
for
that's who they got now. So
yeah.
if they don't win a championship, that would be crazy.
Yeah.
I think they'll get one. But transitioning into
But think about this. The Lakers are still great. The Clippers are still going to be great. The Warriors with Klay next year, look at what Steph is doing. Bring back his splash, bro. Like, they're going to be nasty. And they have so much to either stick with what they got, keep Wiseman, keep Wiggins, keep those boys, or they can trade those guys for who knows who's going to be available in the year. What if the Bucks don't get out of the first round? What if they don't get out of the first or second round again, and Giannis is like, I'm out, I want to trade? Like, isn't that tempting? Give 2 first-round picks, Wiseman and Wiggins for Giannis. Like, you're not going to get many great think about everyone who wanted Wiseman.
Yeah.
The Spurs were willing to give up 2 picks and LaMarcus Aldridge for him.
Yeah.
Like, that's a good swap just for 1 first-round pick because they wanted Wiseman. Like, his ceiling is very high.
Which LaMarcus might be on the move too.
Yeah,
They might be moving from him.
But if it's going to be really interesting to see what happens in the next few years because, like I said, Golden State is still a powerhouse. Steph Curry is playing out of his mind right now. His numbers right now are the same what they were for his unanimous MVP season. But because his team isn't, one of the top 3 teams, he's not going to win MVP. But his numbers are the same as what they were his unanimous MVP season.
Yeah, he's going off.
He is.
He's going off for sure.
So it'll be really interesting to see what happens. If they don't win this year, it's just going to get that much harder to win in the next few years. And again, they're still going to be great. I mean, they have 3 of the top 5 or 6 offensive players in the game right now. But again, like what we've talked about, you can't give up 120 points in the playoffs. You give up 120 points, you're losing in the playoffs. Like,
oh yeah,
you're not going to win a series like
yeah.
that. Now,
And your
everyone
scoring's
steps
gonna
up
come
their
down.
defense.
Your scoring's gonna come down,
Everyone's
too.
defense steps up in the playoffs. I get that. So, only time will tell. We'll see what happens.
I think you're right, but only time will tell, and it'll be interesting to see. Just speaking of the Nets, I kind of want to transition into the whole Kyrie drama and him, not him sitting out, nobody really knowing where he's at, saying it's personal reasons, family issues, and them talking about, will he come back, or like are the Nets, able to, what's going to happen? And we saw like when he wasn't there, and then when he joined the team, and things started to seem like everything was okay. But like I just feel like everywhere Kyrie has been, there's always something that he does or causes that is just it's drama, and it's just he tears locker rooms apart. And I don't know what it is, but I mean I just think if the Nets
sounds like a bitter Boston fan.
Yeah, I'm for sure bitter. I mean, he lied to us that he was going to come back, and then next thing you know, he's out the door.
I'm going to stay if you'll have me.
Exactly. So I just think with Kyrie and the Nets, like if he'll be the reason why they don't win, and it's because he's in my opinion, he's that virus. He's like a cancer, and if he can't get it under control, he's just an emotional guy. Like I don't know. What do you guys think as far as just everything that's been happening with him lately?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if say he's a cancer, but I think it really started with that whole when he was back in Cleveland, and when they asked him, is LeBron like a father figure, to all you guys, and he was just kind of like,
say what?
Wait, what? Like, say it again. Like, he was puzzled. Like, he was so confused by that, and I think like that right there, that moment made him, I feel like, almost just question like all of life and everything. Like he's like what am I doing here? Like now he's like overthinking, like, is this guy, like, is he controlling my success and all? Like,
Yeah,
they won the
it really
championship,
got him,
and
you know,
he
thinking
was
that the
like,
earth
yeah,
was flat.
I'm coming back,
You know?
and
Yeah.
and then he's like, never mind, I'm not coming. I want out. I want to trade. So, you know, it was like, you win a championship, and then he's like, boom, you know, we're gone. Or after they lose the championship, right? And then he's like,
Yep.
boom, we're gone. You know, so yeah, I don't know. I think it really started from there. Like, he just started to really question a lot of things. I don't know. He just kind of gets in his own way. I feel like seems like he's preoccupied with all sorts of other stuff, which, you know,
I mean, I've read stories that when he was in Boston, there was a stretch where he did not talk to a single person.
yeah.
You know, during a good part of the season, not one coach, not one player. He'd come to practice. He'd be in the locker room and just completely be shut out from everyone. And it's like, you can't be that if you're literally the best player on the team and you're like that. It's not going to work.
Yep. Listen, with Kyrie, I mean, obviously there's been talks about, you know, he was talking like he needed that time for his mental health and stuff like that, which, you know, if that's the case, I'm all for, you know, him getting that time and getting that opportunity. But I think the thing that just bugs me the wrong way is he never communicated with the organization. I mean, think about it. If you or I in our workplace just decided that we weren't going to show up for 2 or 3 weeks,
bounced.
like, I would lose my job.
I did that.
Yeah. Yours was a different reason though. But you would lose your job. You know, you would lose that pay, that income, because you made a foolish decision. And for him, it was just a little slap on the wrist. You didn't get paid for those games, and it's all right. Come back and come make your millions of dollars. Like, and he never communicated once. And it almost was, if it was his mental health, that's fine. Like, take that time you need. But to not communicate to the organization, the people who are paying you, who are funding you, to your teammates, who you say, like, you give it all for your teammates, like you leave it all on the court for your teammates, and you guys are collectively trying to achieve this championship, and then you just bounce and don't communicate, and then come back and you're like, yeah, I apologize to everyone. I said sorry. Like, I talked to my teammates. Like, nah, bro. Like, if I was one of his teammates, I'd be like, that's not cool. Like, you know, if you're going to bounce, like, if you're struggling, you're having some mental health issues, that's cool. Like, if you came and talked and said, hey guys, I need a break. I need some time to myself. I'm really struggling right now. I feel like, you know, most of his teammates would have been like, all right, bro, like, take your time. That's cool. Like, you know, you go be with family, take the time you need. But to not communicate, I mean, just in life in general, that's not cool.
Yeah.
Well, guys, just to wrap it up here on this first episode back, let's just talk about the rookie class this year and wrap it up here. But obviously we had Anthony Edwards go first to the T-Wolves, James Wiseman to the Warriors, and then LaMelo Ball third, picked up by the Hornets. I personally feel that LaMelo's going to be Rookie of the Year. I mean, he's just straight balling out right now. But who do you guys think, you know, might win that award, or kind of what your thoughts are on this year's draft class?
So to me, the award does not define your career. Does not define your NBA
Definitely.
career.
No.
And I think sometimes rookies almost like think it does. You know, like, you're like so disappointed when you don't win. Like, you know, I think about Donovan Mitchell not winning against Ben Simmons. Like, that was a big deal. But at this point right now, who would you rather have on your squad, Ben Simmons or Donovan Mitchell?
Ben Simmons.
Really?
Donovan Mitchell.
I'd rather have Donovan Mitchell. But I guess we can argue that later. So to me, that's not really a...
T just said that. He
just
really
said
would
to
say
argue.
Donovan Mitchell
He
for
doesn't
sure.
actually think that.
No, I do like Ben Simmons.
Well, that's
better.
surprising because he can't shoot a jumper outside 12 feet. So
Yeah, but Mitchell needs 30 shots to actually get buckets.
yeah, his
But go
team's
ahead.
first in the West, though.
Go
But
ahead.
we can talk about that later. But so I'm thinking about
So
that.
is Philly.
I do think... What'd you say?
Philly's first in the East. But go ahead. Go ahead. Keep going. Keep
And it's
going.
not because of him. He's not even the best player on his team.
Okay. Whatever.
I think LaMelo will win MVP, or will win Rookie of the Year. And do I think he'll have the best career potentially? Wiseman's ceiling is higher to me. I think he has the highest ceiling in that rookie class. Anthony Edwards, I think, has potential to be a nice player. You know, he was comparing himself to Dwayne Wade before the draft. I was like, bro, You can't be coming in like that. You know, you play 1 year at Georgia and thinking you're Dwayne Wade. Like that. That's not going to happen. But who I really like is Tyrese Halliburton for the Kings. He is a nice player, and he had some comparisons to Kawhi, which I hate when they compare like rookies to superstars because it's like they're not proven.
Exactly.
But you can compare his style, not how good he is, but the style in which he plays on the defensive end and offensively. I really like him. I think he's second right now in the rankings for Rookie of the Year, and the Kings got him, you know, in a later pick. I think it was like the 9 pick or something like that. He got picked after Obi Toppin for the Kings, which to me that was a little bit of a foolish decision. Again, the Knicks going to miss out on someone that they could have had in Tyrese Halliburton, but I think LaMelo Ball will definitely win Rookie of the Year. But as far as the best career out of those rookies, I like those 3: LaMelo, Tyrese, and James Wiseman. I think Wiseman, though, has the highest ceiling out of all of them and could potentially be the best player in that rookie class.
Yeah, I think you'll win because it's a media-driven award, and
the media loves him.
They cover him every chance they get, so they'll give him Rookie of the Year.
But he's leading at every statistical
Yeah, no, it's not like
category
he's
for
not. It's not like
He's
he's not.
exciting to watch, though.
Yeah, it's not like
I
he's
love
not
watching LaMelo.
Yeah, it's not like he's
everything
not
he
playing.
does. Yeah,
He's already
he's
he already has more points in an NBA game than Lonzo does. So
Yeah,
Lonzo's
no.
was like 27, and I think LaMelo's was 34. I'm
35,
like
I think.
35. You beat your brother in 13 games.
And
Like,
yeah.
come on, dog.
Yeah, no, I think it's not like he's bad. You know,
Yeah.
he's gonna be good. Wiseman, I really like. Wiseman, that's who I've been big on since day one. But it's gonna be LaMelo
For sure.
But don't sleep on my boy Devin Vassell. Shout out.
Who?
Devin Vassell,
What team is he on?
San Antonio. He just watch out.
Noted.
Watch out.
Noted.
He's coming up.
He's not.
coming up.
He's not gonna get rookie. Of the
No,
year,
he won't
though.
get Rookie of the Year. No, Melo's getting it. He gets too much coverage.
Pop does get a lot out of his players though. So especially those young players, he's great at developing those young players. I think
One
he's in
last
a good
question,
situation.
and then T, you can close out the show. Just yes or no, and we can discuss it on the next episode.
Okay.
Should or shouldn't there be an All-Star game this year? Just yes or no? Okay.
Yes.
Rye?
From my perspective,
Yeah, just
okay. Because I'm gonna say if it's from the league's perspective, it's definitely a yes because they need that cash.
obviously, yeah, they need that money, but or
As a-
even
as a-
if you were a player,
as
if
a-
you were a player.
If I was a player, I would say no. As a fan, yes.
Okay. Well, like I said, we can discuss that
Yeah.
next episode. But
On the next episode of Water Break. Well, thanks for tuning in for another episode. Catch us on the next episode of Water Break. We're excited for more cool topics, cool debates. Ready to get into it. Ready to talk all things basketball.
That's right.
And stick with us. We're going to have a fun ride.